All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Natural Chimneys podcast. This is episode 2. Oh, I can't believe we actually got an episode 2 of this podcast.
We beat the odds.
We beat the odds here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Caleb, your host. This is my associate Jacob. Today we are going to dissect landmark legal cases and discuss alternative paths that could have shaped the outcome of the C&L Enterprises citizen ban of the Potawatomi Indian Tribe of Oklahoma case. This case is a Jacob, I'm gonna need you to help me on this word here.
Pivotal.
Pivotal. Thank you, Jacob.
Anytime.
It's a hard word to say.
Yeah,
it twists the tongue in many ways that you just can't pronounce it right.
Yeah, it messes me up sometimes too.
Yeah, I know. All right. In understanding the balance, we're trying to understand the balance between the tribal sovereignty and legal accountability in business dealing. Jacob, the next part.
Yeah, thanks, Caleb. That's a beautiful intro, by the way.
Thank you.
I just every time I hear it, fall in love with it more and more.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah. I really try.
Yeah, it's work of art. I must say.
Thank you, sir.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Of course, man.
It's the best part of my day.
Of course, man.
Night now, because we're a little late to filming.
Yeah.
This case is particularly interesting because it touches on such a significant issue in Native American law, the question of tribal sovereignty. It raises important questions about how far that immunity extends and whether it can coexist with the need for businesses to have legal protection. Because, you don't want to be out there and just, not know your rights and, just be left out to dry when things go bad.
Basically just going in clueless. You don't want to do that.
No. When they enter into contracts with tribes, they just got to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to discuss what they could have done differently and how this case impacts both tribes and businesses today. We'll explore what the Supreme Court could have done differently in C&L Enterprises versus the citizen ban Potawatomi Indian Tribe.
There you go.
And what the outcome might have been if the Potawatomi tribe didn't have sovereign immunity. Could there have been a more balanced approach? Could the tribe and the business have reached a different resolution?
I don't know. Well, let's set the stage first. In the C&L Enterprises case, the citizen ban of the Potawatomi tribe entered into a contract with the C&L Enterprises for construction work casino. After a dispute over non-payment, C&L sued the tribe for breach of contract. The tribe argued that it could not be sued due to its sovereign immunity, a legal doctrine that protects Native American tribes from being sued without their consent. The court ultimately sided with the tribe, affirming the sovereign immunity extended to the Whoa, this tribe is... I cannot pronounce this.
It's a real tongue twister.
It's a tongue twister here.
It's the
Potawatomi? I think that's how it's said. Tribe.
So.
Even in this commercial context. So, Jacob, let's get into it. What could the court have done differently in this case? Could there have been a way to address the legal conflict without completely affirming the tribe's immunity in such a commercial dispute?
Caleb, that's a billion-dollar question right there. Everybody wants to know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Sovereign immunity, it is an important principle that ensures tribes maintain their autonomy. But in this case, we see real tension between protecting tribal sovereignty and allowing businesses to enforce legal contracts. One alternative that might have been worth exploring is a more limited waiver of immunity instead of a blanket of immunity. These blankets, they're pretty big,
Yeah.
Cover the whole thing.
Cover a lot of things.
Yeah. But, if it was a little smaller, might have worked out a little better.
Might have.
What if the court had ruled that tribes were when engaging in commercial activities, especially with non-tribal businesses, could waive their immunity specifically for those types of contracts. So not in general, but just, for those contracts.
Totally agree.
The court could have created a framework where tribes could still have the ability to protect themselves from lawsuits in their sovereign capacity. But when it comes to business dealings, particularly with ones outside with outside companies, like in the case of C&L Enterprises, they're an outside company. They could have voluntarily agreed to submit to court jurisdiction or arbitration. This would strike a balance, maintaining sovereignty and governance matters, but only ensuring that businesses aren't left without legal recourse in situations like this.
Jake, I couldn't agree with you anymore. Very wise man with many wise words.
Thank you.
I would say a limited waiver approach could have addressed both sides, pursuing sovereignty, but also making sure that the business entering into agreements with tribes know that they have a legal path to enforce those contracts, right? One thing that stands out in this case is that if the Potawatomi tribe, just a regular contract or corporation, they wouldn't have been able to invoke sovereign immunity in the same way. The court could have drawn a distinction between government acts, like lawmaking and law enforcement, and commercial acts, such as entering into contracts for construction projects. What do you think, Jacob? Should the court have taken a more nuanced approach? Thank you.
Anytime.
creating a carve out for commercial contracts, or do you think it was right to maintain broad immunity?
Honestly, I think a carve out for commercial contracts would have been a genius move. Very smart. It saves a lot of stress in the future.
Like I said, very wise words from a wise man.
Thanks.
Couldn't agree more.
As you said, if the tribe were just a business in this case, it would have been held to the same legal standards as any other corporation, any big corporation.
100%.
The fact that they were a sovereign nation meant they had this special protection. But we have to consider that the contract at issue wasn't related to their core government functions. The casino was just a business venture, and businesses operate in the same marketplace as everyone else. It's like when you're on the elementary school playground, Everyone needs to play together. Big kids, the little kids, everybody just plays together.
Yeah.
But, you can't have one group of kids playing football and one group of kids playing baseball on the exact same field. It just doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Doesn't align with the sports.
Everybody's just got to be on the same sport, same field, or on different sports and different fields. They can't intertwine,
Totally agree with you.
The court could have recognized that while protecting sovereignty, it is important, but businesses that enter into contractual relationships with tribes should have a way to resolve disputes without facing the uncertainty of sovereign immunity. They should have a way out,
Absolutely.
They
And you raise interest point about the marketplace. Tribes are engaging in businesses, especially with the growth of gaming and casinos on reservation. And they're not immune from the same risk and obligation that comes with business ventures. Sovereign immunity is essential, but in a commercial setting, tribes need to have a clear framework for accountability. A contract is a contract. A contract is a contract. After all, if both parties agree in terms, there should be a way to enforce those terms.
Absolutely.
Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
All right, so on to our ad break.
We'll be back right after this.
Are you tired of life being serious? Need a break? Take it with a Kit Kat. Why stress when you can snap, share, and snack your way through the day?
Here's why Kit Kat is the best break you'll ever have. I guarantee it'll be the best break. That crispy wafer wrapped in smooth chocolate? Wow. It's like a hug on your taste buds. It's just, wow.
With its easy to break, shareable pieces, your Kit Kat will always be the star in the photo. Sorry, avocado toast, you've been replaced.
Yeah, you gotta leave.
Yeah.
Kit Kat gets it. Sometimes, life just needs a break. And when it does, Kit Kat's got your back. In bite-sized, delicious form. Need a boost? Just break off a piece and feel your energy level soar, sky high. Well, it might not literally soar, but you'll definitely feel ready to conquer the world. Or at least the podcast,
Yes. Now, you might be wondering, what are the flavors of this amazing candy? Well, we got classic chocolate, because sometimes simple is all you need. Peanut butter, for when you're feeling extra saucy. Caramel crunch, for that sweet tooth adventure only found in England. And so many more. Your taste buds won't know what hit them. So what are you waiting for? Grab a Kit Kat, take a break. Life's too short not to enjoy the little things.
Kit Kat, have a break. Have a really, really delicious break. Kit Kat, for when you're tired of Snickers.
So, after considering all this, what do you think the court could have done differently? In this case, Jacob, would you have gone for like a limited waiver of immunity, or perhaps a completely different approach?
Well, you see, Caleb, that's an excellent question. That's beautifully worded, by the way.
Thank you.
If I had been on the court, not saying that I could, I'm not that well educated.
It's okay.
But if I had been there, I think I would have advocated for a nuanced decision, one that recognizes the importance of tribal sovereignty, but also acknowledges the reality that tribes are becoming more involved in commercial transactions. It's happening every day now,
I'm seeing it.
They can't do it all on their own. They need to pay a business to do it every once in a while, I think a system where tribes could waive their immunity for specific contracts or specific context, like commercial contracts, would have been the most reasonable way to proceed. It's not how they did, but it's how I feel they should have gone.
Okay.
It could have provided businesses with certainty that they need while protecting the broader principle of sovereign immunity.
Now, Jacob, I really couldn't agree more. A more flexible approach would have been the right call. Sovereign immunity is vital, but in commercial dealing, there should be a way to enforce contracts without, wow, I can't. Jacob? Jacob, I need a little help here. Compromising tribal rights.
What a guy.
What a guy. The court had an opportunity to strike a better balance, and that would have and could have been done differently. Alright, everybody, so that wraps our today's episode of Natural Chimneys podcast. I do want to thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening to us debate the CNO Enterprises topic, and basically just us discussing the court case of how it could be done differently. And always, Jacob, it's a pleasure to always have you on this podcast. I do appreciate you, especially for pronouncing the really big words that don't expand that far into my vocabulary yet. But I do appreciate you being here. I do always say you're like one of my smartest friends. So, I do appreciate you being here. Any last words for viewers?
Honestly, Caleb, I've just loved being here. It's been my favorite part of my week, my days, my nights, my whole year. And honestly, might be a highlight of my life.
Wow.
This is by far my favorite job I've ever had. And just talking about these court cases, it's just amazing. Although, likewise, I don't always understand the words those Supreme Justices use. They use some big words.
They do use some big words.
I do have to Google a lot of them. But, I'm always trying to expand my vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't always get them right. Yeah. But, I try.
Yeah, it's always good,
Thanks for having me,
Of course, man.
It's been amazing.
I'm glad to make your yearly, memory. So, very happy I could do it.
It's been a year, man.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, viewers, we have some sad news. This is our last podcast of the Natural Chimneys. We've gone bankrupt. We are no longer funded by any of our ads, even the one today. I just got a text from the owner of Kit Kat, and he said that
no, did they pull our funds again, bro?
Yeah, they pulled just like the Snickers one. Because
wait, are they suing us as well?
Yeah.
Bro.
So You know, there's a Patreon, GoFundMe. You know, we'll give the highest, you know, contributors a free T-shirt because we have a bunch of stored up because no one bought any.
Yeah.
So
well, if you do want to buy some, naturalchimneysmerchandise.com. We dropped it a few weeks ago. Please order now, and if you guys don't order from it, we'll be working at McDonald's because we are actually flat out broke after this. We've lost money doing this podcast for you guys.
For you guys, we care about you guys. We really do.
Yeah, but if you guys want to reach out to either of us, check out our Instagram at natural_chimneys on Instagram. We'll follow back our first 1,000 followers. But yeah, and like I said, Chimney Nation, I love you guys.
We love you guys. Thank you guys. Bye.